Hey guys, welcome back to Surroguide. I'm Veronica,
I'm Travis.
and today we're finally going to discuss the matching process. We've been looking forward to filming this video because it has been quite a process, and we finally matched with our third family profile that we have received. We finally have our match meeting scheduled, and we wanted to share the process with you up until now. So without further ado, let's get into it. Hey guys, welcome back. So today we are going to discuss the matching process. This is going to be a two-part series because we feel like there was a lot that happened during our matching process, so we know we can't fit it all in one video. And also, in this video, we wanted to talk about everything that has occurred until now. And in our part 2 video, we wanted to discuss how our match meeting went and everything along those lines. I first wanted to explain the dynamics of the matching process. So I wanted to refer back to our selecting IPs video, because in that video I explained what to consider when selecting your intended parents. When selecting your intended parent, either your coordinator or your agency will have a matchmaking team. They ask you if you have any particular criteria of the kind of family that you would like to work with, and then they try and find you a family that fits that criteria. So depending on your agency, my agency for our first family sent me the profile. I reviewed it, and then after I agreed that I would like to move forward with them, then they sent it to the family. And then other agencies work the other way around. And so that's pretty much what happens. You both agree to work with each other, and then they send your records off to the fertility clinic, you get approval, then you move forward for the match meeting. So that's the kind of the dynamics of what to expect when going through the process to match with a family. And we wanted to talk about our initial thoughts going into the process. What were your initial thoughts?
Well, I honestly didn't think that it was going to be as much of a roller coaster as it's kind of felt. When we first heard about the method that our surrogacy agency uses to match parents and surrogates, they only send one profile at a time. Mm-hmm. Others will send batches. So we were fairly confident that actually at first we didn't think that we were going to match very quickly at all. But then by the time we got our first profile, then we definitely felt that connection. And their team did a really great job of finding a family that meets our criteria, and that we meet their criteria. So going into it, I didn't expect it to take as long as it did. And you'll kind of find out why it took so long and a little bit into that as we get into this video here. But that was probably the main thing. I didn't expect it to be quite the ups and downs, have the ups and downs that we did.
Yeah, and you always hear surrogates talk about how they matched with the first profile that they received. And even our coordinator said the first profile is normally the one that most surrogates work with. And so we were anticipating our first one to be the one. And when we first read the profile, I ultimately felt, yes, of course, I want to work with this person. And Travis, he told me, okay, well, hold on. Is everything that is in this profile, are you 100% confident? Because you choose to want to move forward with this family, you're working with them for a year, and this is a really intimate relationship. You're in constant communication, they're going with you to appointments, you need to be for sure. And so I'm grateful that he did that, because I was hesitant. After the 24 hours wore off of just considering it, I was hesitant, and it was because the family had already had a child through surrogacy, so this was going to be their second journey. we know that there's a lot of families waiting to have children. So it didn't really feel right to help them have another child when there's other couples who are still waiting to have their first. And so I'm glad that I kind of came to that realization, because I feel like that maybe would have affected how I felt going into this journey. And so we told our coordinator that, and so she went forth in trying to find us a family that would have, us caring for them would be their first child. And so what ended up happening was she came to me and she said that a majority of heterosexual couples already have children, because the reason why they're seeking out surrogacy is because they're unable to carry again, or they've been diagnosed with something to prevent them from being able to do so. So these are the reasons why heterosexual couples tend to go the surrogacy route. And it's not as common for them to be struggling with infertility and to not be able to bear children at all and to need a surrogate. So after receiving that news, we agreed, okay, well, if majority of the heterosexual families already have children, like, what's the difference of caring for this one? Because they already have a child, so let's go ahead and help this family. Well, unfortunately, we aren't sure what happened on the family's end, but they were sent our profile, and we don't know if they no longer wanted to move forward with surrogacy because it was a couple years they were waiting for a surrogate, or what happened on that end. But our profile ended up getting sent to a different family. Do you want to explain what happened on that?
Yeah, so with that second family that we got, we really liked their profile. We felt
they got our profile right before Christmas, so they got to view it the weekend of Christmas.
That is true. So they sent our profile to them first. The family really liked us and wanted to move forward, so the coordinators had sent their profile to us, and we had really felt like we had connected with this family based on their profile. We really wanted to work with them. We felt like they were a really sweet couple.
And they did not have children, so this would have been their first child.
And they did not have any children. They had they told us about her struggles in trying to conceive, and all of the many ups and downs that they've gone through trying to get through the process. And we just felt like this was a couple that was really worth helping and that we would have loved to work with. So we said yes to them as well. And we were pretty sure that we were matched. They sent our records off over to the intended parents' fertility clinic, and unfortunately they did not want to move forward with us due to us being on state insurance.
Yeah. And it's kind of funny because my agency, since I am on state insurance, and that obviously doesn't cover surrogacy, they are covering for me to have private insurance to pay for the surrogacy medical expenses. And so it's kind of baffling that they're not willing to work with me, even though, I have a private insurance covering all the medical expenses. But I guess it's just a criteria of theirs. And
possible due to a health lifestyle stigma that they just didn't feel comfortable working with somebody on state insurance. So unfortunately they did not want to move forward with us, so that was kind of tough. We felt we definitely felt for the family because they've been waiting for a while.
Yeah, and then also the intended parents, when they found out, they were devastated, and they looked into transferring embryos, but unfortunately, it's
really expensive.
It's really expensive to transfer embryos from one fertility clinic to another. So, I mean, that's not an option, and so. Unfortunately, we were not able to work with them, and so that kind of put us at a standstill for a little bit because that was some hard news to hear. And so it took a little bit before we received another profile, but the third profile we received, the family is wonderful.
They had a story that we both brought us to tears.
Yes.
To be honest, you can tell that this family really, as Veronica was telling me earlier, really wanted to stand out. You know, amongst the other intended parents, that they really care. Because we got sent an 18-page profile.
Yes, all the other families had very short profiles, but this family had an 18-page profile, and you can tell that they did. Well, they wanted to stand out. They wanted to tell us about them so that I can get a good idea of what they are like before going into surrogacy and working with them. And I mean, I loved it because I feel like after reading the 18-page profile, I really knew them and I knew what they'd been through and I knew about their family and what they want in this surrogacy journey, and it's everything that we want. And so
that also showed us that they really cared, because we want to maintain some kind of relationship afterwards, and in there they expressed that they want that same thing as well. However, the extent that they went to explain what they've been through and to try and, you know, give us an idea of just some of the feelings that they've had and things that they've gone through. You can tell that it just kind of was that little extra, they went that little extra mile to make sure that we really understood what they had been through.
Yeah, and what has led them to make the decision to do to apply for a surrogate.
And there are one or two things on their profile that stick out to us, that how we, you know, kind of made us question their profile a little bit, but nothing that we thought was at all
a deal breaker.
You know, nothing that was super important to us. You know, things that we definitely would be able to work around and accommodate for, assuming that they can as well. So far with this third family, our agency had sent the intended parents our profile first, and they had liked us and wanted to work with us and move forward. So they had sent over their profile to us, and given everything we just talked about regarding their profile, we decided that we wanted to move forward with this family as well. And so they sent our records off to their clinic, and it took a while for us to hear back from them. It kind of felt like we were at a standstill for a while. Felt like we almost would never hear back, and honestly around this time we started feeling like we wouldn't get matched with anybody, honestly, because we had heard that so many people match fairly quickly, that it just was a little discouraging to us. But you know, tried to remind each other that these things take time, and you know, this is going to be a lengthy process, so you can't rush anything.
And you know, it's really important to have a coordinator who's really like, she reassured us. She kept saying, you guys are going to be matched. Like, I'm so sorry all this is happening. I'm sure, you know, it's a lot for you, but you guys are going to find your family. And that is what really helped me get through this, knowing that we weren't going to be able to work with the second family that we were really hopeful of working with. But we got sent a third profile, and we love this family. We can totally see ourselves working with this family. And so I feel like everything happens for a reason, and if things don't work out the way you want them to, I mean, just know that if it's meant to happen, it's going to happen.
Yeah, and so we eventually heard back. The clinic wanted some more records.
Yeah.
So that was a little glimmer of hope.
I think we mentioned that in our preparations video, that they reached back out having some questions.
Yeah, so they reached back out. That was a little glimmer of hope. Made us a little nervous, but at least we knew that there was progress being made. We were still moving forward. And so we got them the records I think that day, right?
Yeah, we sent the records on Monday, or I think it was like Tuesday because Monday was a holiday.
Yeah.
And then that very Tuesday morning, they got back to our case manager, and so we were able to get our match meeting scheduled.
Yeah, so they approved us, and you know, we were super happy. So we scheduled our pre-match meeting with the coordinator and our match meeting with the parents. And
yeah, the pre-match meeting phone call is just so the case manager for these intended parents can call you, kind of give you the rundown of what to expect, and then I guess talk about whatever is need to talk about. I'm not too sure what to expect.
We haven't quite got there yet.
We'll talk about it in part 2 video.
Yeah, that'll exactly what happened will come in part 2, and how this whole matching interview goes. Definitely in this process, it seems like third time's the charm, and
yes, it does.
We really feel like a connection. I feel with this family,
yes.
and that a wonderful relationship can come out of it. And so definitely keep an eye out for part 2 coming up. This is getting to be a little bit long of a video, so we'll try and cut it short here. But keep an eye out for the next video. We'll definitely be updating you guys as everything comes out. Keep an eye out for our shorts. We generally post the same day as things happen. A brief update, and then we'll, a full video will come out for it later. So without further ado, we'll talk to you guys next time.
All right, bye.
Bye.